Moments of inspiration mixed with time to network, IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrating Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat at ibj.com/RSVP.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Friday, March 13th, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. Closed home sales and new pending sales increased sharply from January to February, with mortgage rates dipping below 6% for the first time in more than 3 years. The Indiana Association of Realtors says February closings jumped 17% month over month, while pending contracts increased 10% statewide. Homes sold for a statewide median of $260,000, up 4% from January. After his short film about his sister's battle with addiction was screened around the world, Fishers native Vince Dixon is shifting his focus to education. Dixon, who now lives in Los Angeles, returned home to serve as writer and director on Sometimes I Imagine Your Funeral. It tells the story of his sister Lauren, who died from an overdose in 2021. Dixon is currently working on a classroom video series with schools, inspired by the short film to teach students about addiction and mental health.
I found that by showing my film, Sometimes I Imagine a Funeral, to students, you see those kids in the classroom in the corner that usually they have their AirPods in, they're on their phone or they're sleeping. Those are the kids that oftentimes are leaning in because this elevated storytelling really engages with people.
Fort Wayne-based Vera Bradley has announced Ian Bickley as the company's new chairman and CEO. Bickley has been a member of the Vera Bradley Board of Directors since November of 2024 and served as the company's executive chairman and board chair since last June, following the departure of former CEO Jackie Ardrey. He previously served as president of the international group for Coach. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Indiana has found the city of Loogootee in contempt of a court order.
The ruling comes after the city allegedly violated a permanent injunction and final judgment stating the city cannot enforce an ordinance that appears to prevent Pride festivities on the city's public square. The order, filed Tuesday by Judge Richard Young, stems from an ongoing disagreement between the city and Patoka Valley AIDS Community Action Group. In 2023, the city approved a permit request for the community group to host its first Pride Festival in the city's public square, but updates to local ordinances for 2024 and 2025 impacted permit approvals for those years. The updated ordinances changed the permit application process for hosting events in the city and altered where events could be held, namely, no longer allowing permit requests for the public square. In August 2025, the district court found the city's special events ordinance to be unconstitutional, granting final judgment to the community group in October to permanently enjoin the city from enforcing the ordinance. But in December 2025, the city enacted a new ordinance for special events that repeats almost verbatim the ordinance that's been permanently enjoined, according to the plaintiff's motion for contempt. As part of Judge Young's order finding the city in contempt, the city must revoke its December 2025 ordinance within 15 days. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A $500,000 gift from Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana will support the design and construction of the City of Gary's new animal care facility. The $1.4 million project will replace the city's severely deteriorating animal control building with a modern structure designed to better serve animals and residents alike. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Hi, I'm Dave Neff, host of Talent Scout. On this show, we shine a light on Indiana's next generation of leaders who are making a difference in business, community, and civic life. These are real conversations about purpose, mentorship, and building a future that matters. Join me as we invest in leadership that lasts. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcast.com. The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state.
Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.